In this video, I'm going to be answering questions from you guys. I get a lot of questions down in the comments and I try my best to answer all of them, but lately it's been getting a little bit unsustainable, just with the amount of questions that I'm getting and the limited time that I have. So I thought it would be a good idea to start making videos answering questions, especially the most commonly asked ones, as a way to help as many people as I can. If you're new here, my name is Tim and I run a sticker shop on Etsy and Shopify. On this channel, I make videos documenting my journey of entrepreneurship and sharing everything that I've learned. So if you're into that sort of thing, feel free to subscribe. Okay, so first question. Susan Khan asks, how do you respond to a customer who says they never got their item, but tracking says it's delivered? How can I tell if they're trying to scam me to get free items? Thanks for the question, Susan. It's actually funny that you asked this question because personally, I've seen an increased amount of customer requests with this exact same thing. A lot of these requests don't even leave any extra information. It's literally just my order hasn't arrived yet, and then ideal solution, I want a refund or replacement. Anyways, the first thing to know is that if you're shipping within the US, I've found that USPS will sometimes mark items delivered up to 2 to 3 business days before they actually deliver the package. I don't exactly know why they do this. Some people have told me it's because they have to meet quotas, and the only way to meet their daily quotas is to preemptively mark packages as delivered. But this has been happening pretty frequently, at least for my customers. If the package was recently marked delivered, I would ask my customer just to wait a few days. Check in with neighbors and people living in the house with them just to see if it shows up. A lot of the times it does show up. If they respond back in a couple days and saying it still hasn't arrived, I would ask them to call their local post office. They'll usually be able to pull up extra information about the delivery and maybe even GPS data, which can show them if they delivered it to the wrong house. And then if they still respond back saying the post office wasn't helpful, I just go ahead and send them a replacement order. Honestly, there's no real way to find out if your customers are scamming you or not. And in my experience, post offices are usually not the most helpful. Things do happen. Packages get lost or delivered to the wrong house, and packages get stolen all the time. It's a real thing and it's not your customer's fault when these things happen to them. So I just apologize for any inconvenience and I send out a replacement order. And yes, by doing this, I do lose profit on certain orders and people might disagree with me because I might be rewarding the scammers in some way. But I'm actually okay with this because for me, if I can't know with 100% certainty that somebody is lying to me, I would rather just believe that they're telling the truth. Because I do think that most people are good people and they're not trying to scam businesses out of money. And yeah, I don't know. If somebody is willing to come up with some elaborate lie about how they didn't get their package even though they did, just as a way to get some extra stickers from me, then fine. It's something that I'm happy to give to them. In my opinion, with the kind of items that I sell, it's not worth it to argue with these people. It really just breaks down into an extra cost that you have to factor into your business. Just like physical stores have to deal with shoplifting or damaged goods, e-commerce stores have to deal with this sort of thing. So it's important to have a healthy enough margin that you can cover this stuff. I hope that helps. Next question. Entrepreneur Academy asks, I have a question about competition number on Sales Samurai, E-Rank, or whatever tool. How much is too much competition? I know there's green, orange, red, but still. Is there a gap in the market for me to enter? Thanks. First of all, if you're not familiar with these Etsy tools, what I think they allow you to do is to help research specific niches and keywords for products. And they'll tell you different things like search terms on that specific niche or keyword, or things like competition. And apparently they give like a color rating. If the competition is low, it's probably gonna be green. And if it's high, it's probably red. I've never actually used these tools before, so take my answer with a grain of salt. But I think if you're just starting out, trying to find a niche that has a low competition number is really the wrong question to be asking. Firstly, competition changes over time. Something could have low competition right now, and in 6 months, it could be super saturated. If you were only in a particular niche for the low amount of competition, what do you do at that point? Like, do you jump ship and find another niche? Secondly, it doesn't take into account what I think is the most important thing, which is the skills or experience that you personally have to offer. What if you're using one of these tools and the tool shows you that hand-knit iPod socks have very low competition? Are you going to start an iPod sock store even if you know nothing about knitting or nothing about socks? I think a much better question to ask is, how much better of a product can you personally create compared to the average competitor in a niche. When I started my store making stickers for kid stuff, I started because I needed them myself. And when I was looking at them, the majority of them I thought were very poorly designed and just didn't look good to me. And since I had experience in graphic design, I knew that I could make a product that looked better than what was on the market. Design was a skill that I picked up when I was younger. You can see this in bigger industries too. Before Apple started making phones, competition was insane. You had companies like Motorola, Nokia, BlackBerry, Sony Ericsson, LG, all making phones for years. But Apple took its skills and experience they had from making computers and MP3 players, and they thought that they could make a phone that was better than the average phone at the time, and they did. So yeah, these tools can be helpful for discovering niches that you wouldn't otherwise know about. But I think it's way more important to look within yourself. What skills do you have and what are your interests? It's better to be in a business that you are actually good at and that you like doing. Hope that helps. Fashion Sense asks, I have a question regarding getting designs trademarked. Do you do it? My latest hesitation is putting my artwork online to buy and have someone knock it off, then possibly trademarking it and coming after me. First things first, I'm not a lawyer and this isn't legal advice. But from my understanding, even if you have a trademark, people can still copy your stuff. Having a trademark might give you the grounds to sue somebody that's copying you, but you still have to sue them. And suing people takes a lot of time and money. As for having people knock off your work, I think it's better just to assume that it's going to happen. I've been doing this for a while now, and from my experience, if you get any type of success, even if it's a small amount, you're going to get copied, and it doesn't matter if you have a trademark or not. People have copied my designs, they've copied my item descriptions word for word, my titles, my policies, my images. People have even copied my YouTube videos. When it first started happening, I would get pretty angry. It doesn't feel good when you spend a lot of time and energy trying to create something new, and people come by and they just straight up copy it. It feels like you're getting punched in the gut. I would do copyright strikes, I would do takedown notices, but eventually more would pop up. It seemed like every time I got one taken down, 2 more would pop up. Over time, I felt like I was spending so much of my mental energy on it that I couldn't get anything else done. And I felt like the best thing that I could do was just to let it go. It's kind of sad because unless I'm missing something, there isn't much that small creators can do to protect themselves. But honestly, I wouldn't let it hold you back because if you think about it, what's the alternative? You could create nothing and put nothing out into the world, but then no one would ever see your stuff. And I feel like if you have something inside you that you want to share, it's almost your duty to share it because you never know who's going to be positively impacted by the work that you create. So yeah, please don't let it stop you from creating things. It's good to create things and put it out into the world. Melvin Flint asks, Hey Tim, I have a new sticker shop on Etsy. I think I'm doing okay to start. My question is, I have a sticker that gets a lot of favorites. Do they actually turn into sales one day, LOL? Also, if I sell one sticker, do I give an extra? I usually do. The few I have seem to appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for the question, Melvin. And my answer is that favorites can turn into sales, but I wouldn't spend too much time or energy hoping that they do. What you can do is use that information to help you decide what kind of products to offer next. I don't know what kind of stickers you're selling, but for example, if you're selling animal stickers, maybe it's bears, cats, hedgehogs, or dogs or whatever, and you notice that your hedgehog stickers are getting a lot of favorites. Maybe you can take that as a sign to start creating more hedgehog stickers. When you're first starting out, what you're really trying to do is trying to find that one product that sells. You should be trying a wide variety of things, and once you find that something is working, that's when you double down on it. So yeah, look at your analytics and see which one of your listings are getting the most views and the most favorites, and make more products related to those things. You want to do this until eventually you get sales. As for giving away freebie stickers, if you can't do it, I think it's a good idea. Freebies are something that I still give away to this day because it doesn't cost me much to do, and I feel like customers always appreciate it. At the end of the day, you're trying to make your customers as happy as possible with their purchase. And if you're able to do that while maintaining healthy margins, then that's a good thing in my books. Hope that helps, Melvin. Prince Peach asks, I'm currently sitting in a spot where I want to create an Etsy and sell. along with other avenues such as local sales and Facebook Marketplace. But I'm filled with so many fears. Can I make quality products? What will I make? Should I make generic things because it's popular or in season? Or should I focus on a target audience that I feel passionate about from the start? Everyone says make things for babies, weddings, pets, but my passion is nerdy things. Though I suppose there are bound to be some nerdy pet owners, and contrary to popular belief, some nerds do get married. I don't know, just filled with excitement to have my own business, but also worried about failing and disappointing all the people who helped me get to this point. I really appreciate that question, and I can totally relate to the feeling. The first thing I want to say is that it's completely normal to feel this way. When you first start something new, it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the new things that you have to deal with. There are so many options to consider, and there's so many things that you have to learn and so many things that you have to do. It can be scary because you don't know if you're going to be able to do it or not, but it does get easier over time. Whenever I feel like this, something that really helps me is breaking things down into as simple steps as possible. You have all of these things in your mind and everything is hard to keep track of. But really, if you want to start a business, it comes down to two things. You need something to sell, and you need a way to sell it. For you, I think you're in a good spot because you already know what you like. You're passionate about nerdy stuff, and that's where I would start. It's always better to deal with products that you actually care about versus products that you think are trendy or products that you think will make you a lot of money. The key that a lot of people forget is that if you want the best chance to be successful, you just have to play the game for as long as possible. And the only way to play the game for a long time is to actually like what you're doing. If you're thinking about different platforms like Etsy, Facebook, or local, I would just start with whatever is easiest for you to do at the time. They're all good, and there's been success stories on every platform. So you just have to do one at a time, pick one, and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then just try the next one. There's really no rush. You have to keep doing it until you find that winning combination that leads to sales. And that's the thing, a lot of people will quit before they find it. And something that helps me whenever I'm afraid to try something new is I try to imagine what advice an old version of me would give myself right now, an 80-year-old Tim. Right now, we're all sitting here and we have time. According to my analytics, the majority of you watching are aged 25 to 45, which means we have many years to come. Many decades to accomplish our dreams. But there's going to be a day when we're at the end of our lives and we're not going to have the time or the health to do what we want anymore. The decision to go after our dreams is going to be decided for us. And if we're not careful, we'll just keep pushing off our dreams into the future until there's no actual time left. And to me, that's just really tragic. Our 80-year-old selves would say that being afraid to fail at something is a silly reason not to start, and that we actually don't have as much time as we think we do. Because at least for me, I find that days, weeks, months, and even years, they pass by a lot quicker than we think. So yeah, Prince Peach, reading your comment here again, it seems like this is something you want to at least try. And listen to your 80-year-old self. Your 80-year-old self would tell you that you have nothing to lose and you have all the time in the world right now. So give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, that's fine, at least you tried. Anyways, I really appreciate all the questions. Thank you so much for leaving them. And if you have started a business and you're still struggling a little bit to get sales, one of the reasons might be your pricing. I know for my store, pricing was one of the things that really turned everything around. And if you want to learn more about it, you can check out the video over here. If not, thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.